Good morning. Good morning. Today is April 25th in the year 2023. Do you know where Tucker Carlson is? Fired. The great Tucker Carlson fired. The great Tucker Carlson fired. Also in news today, the Democrats have officially canceled the Democratic primary in 2024. In 2024, thereby eliminating any competition whatsoever to the great Joe Biden, who has announced he will run for president in his late 80s or early 80s. Welcome everybody to the program. There is now a slot. The 8 p.m. slot at Fox News is now open. It's now open. Who's going to take that slot? I'll take it. Hey, Fox, I'll take it. I would say, I don't know, Tulsi Gabbard probably, or Trey Gowdy might fill that slot, I would think. Tulsi Gabbard has it in her to do it. She's clearly not as insightful as Tucker, but in my opinion. But she would make a good replacement. And Trey Gowdy clearly has the experience, but is he, I don't know, does he have that comical sense? I don't know. But anyway, the great Tucker Carlson, I want to give him the time. I saw an interview of him saying things that were, unsayable in the mainstream prior to his getting axed, I guess on Friday or whenever he got axed last night. And we shall see. It's a bad day for free speech. It does seem that Tucker Carlson was a political hit in the sense that the country, the people are going one way, but media and government is clearly going another. And Tucker Carlson repeatedly points that out in elections, in controversies that everyday controversies, and for that he had to be getting rid of. He had to be gotten rid of. It looks like. So we'll look at that fascinating story. We'll hear Tucker in his own words. He has not come out in front of the cameras yet since he's been axed. But the week leading up to it was really, really fascinating. The Foundation Institute, or whoever they are, he did a talk over there, which I'm going to play. Fascinating, fascinating man. And mucho respect. Didn't always like Tucker Carlson. Thought once upon a time he was a right-wing kook like Hannity. And I've grown to appreciate him and understand him, and I hope the best for him. I hope he parlays his time at Fox into something good, maybe his own channel, his own station, his own something, right? Or somebody big picks him up. But We'll take a look. So here he is, the genius of Tucker Carlson, the ties, the hair, the simplicity, the just the simplicity of Tucker Carlson on display. My name is Marcus Conte. I'm a video philosopher. I'm not really a journalist, so I wouldn't be eligible for that position anymore. I've changed my hat to philosopher, and I've always been a videographer. I'm just a guy who makes videos. But what we really are talking about here today is the ability to have an opinion, and it seems that is what is under duress at this time. And I want to talk about Joe Biden's run. I think Tulsi Gabbard sums it up the best. I have a video clip of Tulsi telling you unequivocally exactly what I've been telling you for the last year. So maybe Tulsi watches the program, or she knows what I know, which is basically the Democrats are going to run Joe Biden no matter what. That cancels the Democratic primary because we have our candidate already. And it shuts up RFK. It shuts up any possibility of a Democratic insurgence. No more Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. Those people will be dead by the time they get a chance to run. They can safely, if Biden beats Trump, if Biden goes head to head with Trump and beats Trump, then Kamala Harris is your next president. Right? At some point, Joe Biden is going to be incompetent, and they're going to replace him with her. Right? That's precisely how it'll work out. Or somebody else. If Kamala Harris fails, then somebody else. But again, she's the perfect pawn. She's the perfect political pawn, right? She's black. She's a woman. She does what she's told to do. She has the nervous laugh. She has no integrity. She's rough on crime. She's horrible human being, and so she's their candidate, I believe. Every morning at 9 a.m., we do an educational philosophical live stream right here on YouTube, and you are invited to do that. All these programs are simulcasted across multiple platforms: Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter. And hold on to your books, man. Hold on to your books, because if all of this digital media one day eviscerates and evaporates, you don't have a physical fucking any physical evidence that any of it ever happened. God damn it. Save your video, save your media outside of the box or in the box, right? Get one of these things and save all the work you do and all the things you say and all the books you love in PDF form, and save it somewhere else. And then one day when the whole shit blows up and no one's allowed to speak anymore, more so than they're not allowed to speak now, at least you'll have some evidence of a truth. Right? Those are the types of, that's where my mind is at the present moment. Maybe it won't be for long. Vinny D. Martini in the chat. What's up, everybody in the chat? Weevil Girl. Weevil Girl. Me So Hungry is here. Zoot Cooter. What's up? Pyramid 7. Yo. Born Annoying. TJ, how are ya? Weesty, a lot of old friends here. Born Annoying, Fear Porn, Clayton Bergies, Jim Gerard, Snake Plaskin asks, is Marcus taking the 8 p.m. slot on Fox? I don't know. The phone hasn't rang yet. I don't actually have a phone that's on, so I wouldn't hear it. But I'll check later and see. Maybe I'll mosey on over to Fox, make my availability known. So every morning, as I said, 9 a.m. and then 7 p.m. On Tuesday, which is tonight, we have a live Dharma gathering, the 7 p.m. live Dharma gathering with an open discussion, video discussion. Will happen tonight at 7 p.m., more like 7:15 p.m. on YouTube. And donate via Zelle, if you can, via Zelle, direct deposit via Zelle, no middlemen. And that's how we fund this program. Unfortunately, there's no big corporation, and it's getting rough out there. It's getting rough. It's getting rough to stay afloat, with all this censorship of the past, censorship of the present, inability to step outside of the box. I mean, it's getting bad. It's getting bad in America. And I think that's the magic of Tucker Carlson. He talked about that. He talks about that all the time, and for that, everybody's looking right now for the reason why did Tucker Carlson get fired. Tucker Carlson got fired because he spoke his heart and he spoke his truth, which is inconvenient for the corporation that he works for and the donors who support that corporation. And for that, he is now gone, will be replaced. I take that back about Tulsi Gabbard and or Trey Gowdy. Tucker will probably be replaced with a watered down version of Tucker. Someone who, parses their words, reads the teleprompter, doesn't really have a thick opinion anymore. Unless Trey Gowdy's ready to do that, which he might just be, or Tulsi Gabbard. They're probably not up for that job. So let's start here. Someone that I never liked, never had much respect for, the Don Lemon over at CNN, also fired. And I could care less why Don Lemon got fired, but he's angry. He's pissed off. And after 17 years, they finally kicked him out. Again, a liberal, leftist, racist, homophobe. He's a homophobe. He's a homosexual, and a homophobe at the same time. Right? He just. You hate me because I'm gay. You hate me because I'm black. You hate me because I'm fucking male. The guy's a pathetic piece of garbage, in my view. That's always how I have perceived him. And he's out at CNN. Who cares? Don't let the door fucking hit you in the ass, Don Lemon. Goodbye. So Marcus Conte reporting on his own prediction. I had told you that the Democrats would run Joe Biden right up to the finish line, and that would effectively cancel the Democratic primary. And that, according to Tulsi Gabbard, has been confirmed, that there will be no Democratic primary, no RFK love, no Bernie, no Elizabeth Warren, no Marianne Williamson, nothing. You get nothing, man. Nothing. No discussion. Your pick as a Democrat is Joe Biden. If you don't like it, you're a racist, you're a Republican, you're a MAGA extremist, you're a danger, you're a terrorist. You're a fucking terrorist racist if you don't toe the party line for Joe Biden. What's wrong with you? Don't you know that Donald Trump, the orange monster, is coming and he's ready to eat your children and take America into the fucking toilet? Haven't you been paying attention? So, in my view, it's a good strategy by the Democrats because they have nothing else. They have nothing to lose. They already have their corporate puppet, Joe Biden. They have a puppet in Joe Biden, a corporate puppet, aka Joe Biden. So they don't need anything else. The guy's old, senile. He's waiting for his own death. All right, he's just having fun. I'm the president. Probably stands in front of the mirror, and says, "Look at me. I'm the president of the United States. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm the president of the United States." Right? So here's Tulsi Gabbard telling you, talking about the announcement of Joe Biden and a few other things. Let's listen.
Contributor. It's great to see you. How are you? Now, this looks like a diary. Is that?
No, it's my notebook.
It's your notebook?
Yeah.
If you could read that and see that from there, you're better than I am.
Still okay.
All right, so Democrats don't want him to run. Republicans absolutely don't want him to run, although maybe we do.
You do want him to run. You want him to run because, I don't know, it doesn't really matter who runs. That's the point. You have Trump, who's wildly popular and is going to rally the people. And you have Joe Biden, who is wildly popular amongst the money. So it's it's the people versus the corporations, essentially. Right? And, you know, I don't know. Is Joe Biden the best the Democrats have? Yeah, he represents the oligarchy. He represents the corporate theory to just shut up and get out of the way and let them fucking rob everybody or something. But
wait, think about it. He doesn't know it's Monday. I think I'd rather take my chances with him. Do you think he is capable of dealing with China and Russia and Iran? Do you think he's capable of turning this economy around?
There are so many issues here. You've mentioned a couple of them. There are many, many more. We could go down the list of his indefensible record that he's had as president. One of the things, though, is that the American people need to be able to examine these issues. What's the traditional way that we normally do that? Through a debate, right?
See, Tulsi Gabbard's telling you what I told you, right? Tulsi, the prediction is clear. Democrats pick Joe Biden. That cancels the primary. And it shuts up every kind of insurgent. There's no longer a discussion about anything except what Joe Biden's talking about.
Well, the DNC just announced we're not going to have any presidential primary debates.
What? No more primary. No more primary. You heard? The DNC just announced it. Prediction accurate. DNC primary has been canceled. Sorry, Democrats. Sorry, Bernie lovers. Sorry. No discussion for you. Joe Biden. Don't you hate Trump enough? Well, we'll keep... Trump's a criminal, you know. Trump is running around with prostitutes.
And so, you know, for me as a presidential candidate back in 2020, they were rigging the system back then. They were just more subtle about it, tossing softball questions to Kamala Harris and giving people more time. But now they are so arrogant and so disrespectful to the American people and voters. They're just saying, nope, we're not going to allow any debates. We're not going to put his record in front of the American people. We're not going to give people any choice other than Joe Biden. And so
there you go. As red as Tulsi Gabbard's shirt is, that is the evidence. The evidence is now DNC has canceled the Democratic primary. There is no primary. Your candidate is the 82-year-old ailing, confused Joe Biden. And can he beat Trump? Of course he can, because of how did he beat him the last time? Can Joe Biden, forget about who can beat who. Can Joe Biden be declared the winner of the 2024 election? Forget about votes, because that's not what we're talking about anymore. Can Joe Biden be successfully declared the president of the United States without the whole country burning? That's the calculation that corporate America makes right there, right? Because there's no more integrity or it's all tradecraft. It's all, smoke and mirrors. Can we get away with it? Right? And that's what happened the last time. Right? 80 million people voted for Joe Biden, but he can't put 100 people in a room. Right? It's bizarre.
My appeal to Democrats and to American voters, if you are even thinking of voting for I was about to say Donald Trump. If you're even thinking about voting for President Biden,
for Trump, is that what you're saying?
If people are thinking about voting for President Biden, they really need to ask themselves if they want to support a candidate that has so much disdain and disrespect for the American people.
His agenda is failing, and I don't think he's up to the job. Now, I'll make a comparison. I don't think age is the issue.
Did he say his gender is failing?
Up to the job. Now, I'll make a comparison.
Has so much disdain and disrespect for the American people.
His agenda is failing, and I don't think...
Oh, his agenda. I thought he says his gender. His agenda is failing. Well, I don't know about that, Hannity. It depends on who you ask.
He's up to the job. Now, I'll make a comparison. I don't think age is the issue. Bernie Sanders is old, but he is sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Now, I sat with Donald Trump for well over an hour. We ran a full hour, and then we had another segment the next night, another one the next night. It never stopped.
No.
And he can talk forever on any subject you throw at him and not stop. So it's not about age, it's about the person.
It's not. And this is what I think the Democratic machine, their play is. For them to be able to stay in power, they need Joe Biden to run for re-election, get re-elected, so that when he gets to that point where he cannot function, which will likely happen sooner than later, they will then install their puppet, their chosen one, Kamala Harris, to be.
Really, come on, man. I made that prediction. I told you that would be the prediction, but there it is.
The
You really
unelected president of the United States.
I don't.
And then
you
she
really believe
runs
it's her?
and then she runs again in 2028 with the power of the incumbency behind her. They want someone that they can control.
And you think Kamala
And they can
Harris is that
control
person?
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
I have no doubt about it. You look at how she.
This is a bold fucking interview right here. Very bold by Tulsi Gabbard, saying she is controlled. She is a corporate puppet. She's going to talk about her nervous laugh as well.
Carries herself. You look at her inability to
Articulate?
form coherent sentences.
Wait a
Which
minute. Can you
this is a
explain
serious.
the mystery of the ages? Can you explain the uncontrollable giggling?
Yes, I can actually.
What is it?
To me, it shows nervousness, anxiety, and fear.
Wow.
That's how she
a great
covers it
analysis.
up.
I definitely don't want you analyzing me because that was dead on.
Shaky Camilla Harris is Tulsi's prediction for. I don't know. I had said I don't even know if Joe Biden can get to the finish line. If it looks like they can't even cheat Joe Biden in, then he could drop at the last minute, and then, Camilla Harris could be inserted. But the easier way to do it is to run behind Joe Biden. There's not going to be any debates. He might cancel the debate with Trump. He might say, well, I'm not going to debate Trump because Trump's a criminal. Right? They'll criminalize Trump. Remember, that they may, if you think that there's not going to be a debate amongst Democrats, which is now confirmed, you might not even see a debate against Trump. Right? The insurgent, fucking guy, Donald Trump. You can't. No, Trump's a criminal. Trump, and they'll come up with some kind of rule or some kind of law that says that Trump is to debate with Trump is deadly. Something ridiculous like that. So you might not see any debates at all. Just Trump, just to fucking go in and push the button and cross your fingers and hope.
We have a chance against Joe Biden.
The Democrats seem to be lining up behind Joe Biden for the reasons that I've stated.
But don't
You got to understand that, right? Tulsi Gabbard is telling you, are we buffering? Are we buffering? No, we're not. Are we buffering? Why are we only 5 minutes in? Why are we only 5 minutes in? Oh, I don't know. I don't know why we're buffering. Let's continue.
Don't they see what we see? Don't they see that he's incoherent? Don't they see the cognitive decline?
See, Hannity can't get his head around the fact that all those defects work to the DNC and the Democrats' advantage. There's no way that a Gavin Newsom or a Camilla Harris or a RFK is going to get in front of that agenda. Ain't going to happen. Tulsi Gabbard just told you unequivocally, ain't going to happen.
Yeah, the numbers seem to show that.
Right. So
but
wouldn't they be open to, if you stayed a Democrat, you would have a hard time because you're not going to go along with the climate alarmist religious cult.
Well, I'm not going to go along with the litany of insane issues and agenda, the so-called woke agenda the Democrats are pushing.
Yeah.
And I think more and more people are seeing that insanity and are very concerned about it, and rightly so. This is why this democratic process really needs to play out, and it's why the DNC and the Democrats are doing everything they can to stop it.
There you go. There you go. Confirmed. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's watch Joe Biden. He has published 3 hours ago, it looks like, a ad to run for president. Let's see if there's any facts or truth to it. Start off with January 6 riots. We knew that they would. January 6th, see the Trump signed, they're criminals.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans.
There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred.
That's been the work of my first term.
You mean like freedom of choosing to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine? And if you don't get the vaccine, you're fired and will destroy your life and ruin you and ruin your career and take away your pension if you don't do what we tell you to do. That's freedom, Joe Biden. That's freedom. Freedom to get a YouTube channel and speak your truth and get canceled because the fucking corporations that sponsor you don't like it. That's freedom? What freedom are you talking about, Joe? What freedom? Freedom to go outside and walk around where you can possibly get shot? What freedom, Joe?
To fight for our democracy.
This shouldn't be a red or blue issue.
To protect our rights. To make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms. Cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life.
I keep running the same lie. Republicans are going to cut Social Security. There is nothing in evidence. There's no evidence of that at all, ever. They say it every year, but every presidential election, the Republicans want to take away your Social Security. Not happening. Not true.
Cutting taxes for the very wealthy. Dictating.
They did cut taxes for the very wealthy, but all of the Democratic Party went along with that. The Trump tax cuts were, supported by both parties, right, to give billionaires, and corporations a huge break.
What healthcare decisions.
So he's lying right now. There's a lot of lies here.
Women can make. Banning books and telling people who they can love.
Who's banning books and who's telling people who to love? A lot of lies, man. A lot of lies.
All while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote.
And that's making it more difficult for you to vote, not canceling the fucking Democratic primary.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too.
It's like a fairy tale. He's telling the media and the fucking people that cut this thing together are telling you a fairy tale. It's not real. None of what he's saying is real.
This is not a time to be complacent.
So that's about all I want to see about that. Let's listen to Tucker Carlson, the genius of Tucker Carlson. Why did Tucker Carlson, the brilliant Fox News guy who was the most successful cable news anchor in America, he's definitely the most popular, most watched, and why did Fox cut him? It's very revealing, but let's listen to Tucker in his own words. He's at, where is he? He's at the Heritage Foundation. Don't know much about it. Heritage 50th anniversary celebration. Tucker Carlson offers a keynote address, and this was on it was posted April 21. So last week, this is what Tucker Carlson was coming out in front of the cameras saying. This is Tucker last week, not years ago, not months ago, not after they fired him. This is a week ago, right before he knew he got axed. So let's listen and give him the respect he deserves.
Except for our own demise, thank God. But we didn't kind of get that. If you told me then that this week the Department of Justice would have indicted a group of people I don't agree with, by the way, on a lot of different issues, black nationalist socialists from Florida, okay, kind of not my demographic, but would have indicted them for criticizing the U.S. position, the Biden administration's position on the war in Ukraine, and charged them with felonies for which they're each facing 10 years in prison. If you told me that could happen here, I would have laughed at you. No. We have a First Amendment. That can't happen here, but it has. That and a lot of other things.
It continues to happen.
Which are gravely unsettling, actually, in people who were rooted in the Cold War story and the reality of the Cold War, again, my age, 53, kind of know where that goes. So the purpose of my talk, which by the way, I will keep brief. I'm an inveterate talker. I can literally talk forever. you can't even imagine my capacity for loquaciousness. I mean, it has no end. It's a bottomless well. You know, if you dropped a quarter off the observation deck of the Empire State Building.
I would love to see more of this Tucker Carlson on a show. Just be yourself, man. This is you. This is you, the honest, the unabashed. This is the way you do it, people.
How long would it take to hit the sidewalk? That was always what we talked about when we were kids. You would never hear it. In my case, I can literally go on first. So I will stop, and Kevin and I are going to have a conversation, which I think will be much more edifying. But I would just say two things about the present moment.
Okay.
Because I think about them all the time.
Do
and
it.
I brood on this constantly. And then I take every afternoon, because fundamentally I'm Swedish, I take a sauna every day.
Wow.
As a rest, I do, I'm not kidding, every single day. Never.
That's interesting. Tucker Carlson takes a sauna every day. Wow. So you always look, it's how you find out. Like, what is this guy's health secret? And turns out he's a sauna freak. He gets in the sauna.
That's it. And my whole family does. It's like our one cultural contribution. Oh, we're Swedish. Ooh, it's a very deep ethnicity. Oh, yes. A lot of Swedish traditions. You should hear our comedy. It's hilarious. But the one thing I do is take a sauna to kind of get out of my head and get away from all this stuff. And I never can. And I just use my time in the sauna to brood more. But here are two conclusions I've come to, which I think are slightly less depressing than the most obvious, which is the country's really going at high speed in the wrong direction. Yeah, no kidding. Like in ways that are just unfathomable. And for people my father's age, for example, who's 82 and such a decent man, and I could go on forever about my dad, who I saw this morning, was just born in an orphanage called the Home for Little Wanderers in Boston, and became a success and the head of a federal agency and served in the Marine Corps and sort of lived the America that you imagine is possible for people who are smart and try hard and all that. For people of that age, it's too much, actually. The change is too by it. I would say two things that I think we're thinking about. The first is you look around and you see so many people break under the strain, under the downward pressure of whatever this is that we're going through. And you look.
The downward pressure of whatever it is we're going through. This is important. He really, really puts his finger on the dilemma that we saw unfold during the pandemic, where people fell in line in a way that we had never seen them before, where they put their self-respect aside and they did things that they would never ordinarily do. They subordinated in a way that was profound, operating out of fear and a fear of persecution, being fired, being alienated. Right? That's what he's talking about.
With disdain and sadness as you see people you know become Quislings, you see them revealed as cowards, you see them going along with a new thing, which is clearly a poisonous thing, a silly thing, saying things they don't believe because they want to keep their jobs. If there's a single person in this room who hasn't seen that through George Floyd and COVID and the Ukraine war, raise your hand. Oh, nobody? Right, you all know what I'm talking about. And you're so disappointed in people. You are, and you realize that the herd instinct is maybe the strongest instinct. I mean, it may be stronger than the hunger and sex instincts, actually. The instinct, which again is inherent to be like everybody else and not to be cast out of the group, not to be shunned, that's a very strong impulse in all of us from birth. And it takes over, unfortunately, in moments like this, and it's harnessed, in fact, by bad people in moments like this, to produce uniformity. And you see people going along with this, and you lose respect for them. And that's certainly happened to me at scale over the past 3 years. I'm not mad at people, I'm just sad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
How could you go along with this? You know it's not true, but you're saying it anyway? Really? You're putting your pronouns in your email? You're ridiculous. But no,
You didn't put your pronouns in your email?
no one else thinks it's ridiculous. Oh no, it's your pronouns in the email. What does that even mean? What does it even mean? You're saying things you can't define. LBGTQIA+? Who's the plus? The plus is invited to my show anytime. Find a plus and I'll interview him. What's it like to be a plus? Am I a plus? I'm serious. I feel like I'm an addition. Does that make me a plus? No one even knows what it is. And the whole society, LGBTQIA+. All right, what's the plus? Oh, shut up, racist. Okay.
There you go. It's genius, but total genius, as a result of his situation. He sees it, he's talking about it, and for that reason, he's fired.
So you reach that place and you feel, and this is one of the reasons, Father Scalia, I was actually overcome a little bit with emotion as you prayed, because I realized that I was so upset by the behavior of some people I love, frankly, in a country I revere and always have, that I wasn't praying for the country. That's on me, and we all should be. But back to my point. So you see the sadness happening. But there is, as there always is, this is a fact of nature and theology and of observable reality, there is a countervailing force at work always. There's a counterbalance to the badness. It's called goodness. And you see it in people. So for every 10 people who are putting he and him in their electronic JP Morgan email signatures, there's one person who's like, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry, I don't want to fight, but I'm not doing that. It's a betrayal of what I think is true. It's a betrayal of my conscience, of my faith, of my sense.
Watch the smear. The smear is coming. If you don't think that they're going to go after Tucker Carlson now that he's unaffiliated with Fox, he's a free agent. He's an independent thinker. Watch the scandal, right? Oh, no, Fox. Now, the breaking news, Tucker Carlson was fired because he had a picture of a little boy on his desk. Go get him. Right? That's what'll happen next.
Sense of myself, of my dignity as a human being, of my autonomy. I am not a slave. I am a free citizen, and I'm not doing that. And there's nothing you can do to me to make me do it. And I hope it won't come to...
Well, they couldn't. There's a lot of things they can make you do, right? Not at your level of play, but certainly at lower levels of play, Tucker. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can take a city worker, for example, who has a mortgage and a 12-year-old child, and no other income, right? And take his city job and say, you either get this vaccine or you're fired. And you'll lose all of your fucking seniority and your pension and everything that you worked for. And it is gone. So you're either going to do it or we're going to ruin your life. We're going to destroy your life. That is exactly what they're doing.
Conscience of my faith, of my sense of myself, of my dignity as a human being, of my autonomy. I am not a slave. I am a free citizen, and I'm not doing that.
No, you're not.
It's Paul.
Cheeseburger says, I can't wait till they make veggie gardening illegal. I had that feeling as well, right? Like gardening. They've made capturing water. Did you know it's illegal to capture water in a bucket in your yard? Fucking crazy. No vegetables. You're not allowed to grow that shit. You got to buy it from us.
On trial. Here I am. And you see that in people, and it's a completely unexpected assortment of people. I'm really interested in cause and effect, and as I noted at the outset of my remarks, and my ability to predict the future. Working on that. But because I'm sort of paid to predict things, I try and think a lot about, what connects certain outcomes that I should have seen before they occurred. And in this case, there is no thread that I can find that connects all of the people who've popped up in my life to be that lone brave person in the crowd who says, no, thank you. You could not have known who these people are. They don't fit a common profile.
Right.
Some are people like me. Some of them don't look like me at all. Some of them are people I despised on political grounds just a few years ago. I could name their names, but you may not even know about their transformations. I don't want to wreck your dinner by telling you who they are.
That's a really good point, how the paradigm has shifted. People that you disagreed with even 5 years ago, now you're completely in line with as a result of all this censorship and such. Government tyranny.
But there's in one case someone who I made fun of on television, and certainly in my private life in vulgar ways, who was really the embodiment of everything I found repulsive, who in the middle of COVID decided, no, I'm not going along with this. And once you say one true thing and stick with it, all kinds of other true things occur to you. The truth is contagious. Lying is, but the truth is as well. And the second you decide to tell the truth about something, you are filled with this, I don't want to get supernatural on you, but you are filled with this power from somewhere else. Try it. Tell the truth about something. You feel it every day. The more you tell the truth, the stronger you become. That's completely real.
Yeah.
It's measurable in the way that you feel. And of course, the opposite
Brilliant talk so far. Brilliant.
is also true. The more you lie, the weaker and more terrified you become. We all know that feeling. You
Kamala Harris. We know what it looks like, too.
lie about something, and all of a sudden you're a prisoner of that lie. You are diminished by it. You are weak and afraid. Drug and alcohol use is the same way. It makes you weak and afraid. But you look around and you see these people, and some of them really have paid a heavy price for telling the truth. And they are cast out of their groups, whatever those groups are, but they do it anyway. And I look on at those people with the deepest possible admiration.
Yep. Zutsu Kuda says the left has no idea the hell Fox News has just released by firing Tucker. He's a free man now. He's no longer controlled by the machine. Right. Exactly. Exactamundo. But it's only Monday. It's only Tuesday. Wait until Friday. And we'll see just how free Tucker Carlson is. Again, the smear machine is revving up right now. I watched CIA, FBI. Watch the articles that come out of the Washington Post, MSNBC. Even the stupid Young Turks are already smearing Tucker Carlson. It's just going to get. It's going to increase because he has momentum. So they got to stop him.
I am paid to do that. I face no penalty.
So you did face a penalty. You got fired, Tucker. You're gone. This is, I guess, we're in your future now. 1 week ago, you were a Fox paid hack, and now you're nobody. Now you're like everybody else.
Someone came up to me, you're so brave. Really? I'm a talk show host. It's like I can have any opinion I want. That's my job. That's why they pay me. It's not brave to tell the truth on a cable news show. And if you're not doing that, you're really an idiot. You're really craven. You're lying on television. Why would you do that? You're literally making a living to say what you think, and you can't even do that?
Nope.
Please. But how about if you're a senior vice president at Citibank? I'm serious. At Citibank. And you're making, $4 million a year. And you've got 3 kids in Bedford, and 2 are in boarding school, and 1 starting at Wesleyan next year. And you need this job, honestly. And
right. And then some jerk off comes along and says you need to take your vaccine right now, or you're fired. Right? What do? You let it all go? No, you turn around and you let them shoot that shit in your ass, and you say, okay, I did it. And now, and what next? What next? They've already violated your body. Now they'll fucking, so it doesn't end, right? When you capitulate, it just gets worse. Right? That's what happens.
Your whole sector is kind of collapsing, and you know that. There is no incentive whatsoever for you to tell the truth about anything. You just go into the little re-education meetings, and you're like, yeah, diversity is our strength. That's exactly right. We need equity in the capital markets. Okay, all right. So if you're the one guy who refuses to say that, you are a hero, in my opinion. And I know some of them. In fact, my job is to interview them. And I sit back and I look at these people, and I give them more credit than I do people who display physical courage, which is often impulsive, by the way. And I'm not denigrating physical courage, which I deeply admire. But you interview people who do amazing things, who rush into the proverbial burning building. And every man is kind of trained from birth to fantasize about what he would do when the building catches fire and you hear a baby crying, and so you run inside. No one is trained to stand up in the middle of a DEI meeting at Citibank and say, this is nonsense. And the people who do that, they have my deepest admiration. And so their example really gives me hope. It thrills me. I talk to them all day long, people like that. That's the first thing.
Have you ever worked in a large, I work for the city of New York, and you would be subjected to these ridiculous, stupid talks. And the best thing that you do is you just sit and say nothing. Anybody have any questions? No. And you just sit there. But you listen to equity, diversity, and equanimity, or whatever the fuck they're talking about. It always comes down to the white supremacists.
Should, in this sad moment of profound and widespread destruction of the institutions that people who share our views built, by the way. Earlier generations that would agree substantially with every person in this room, they built those and now they're being destroyed. And oh, that's so depressing. But we can also see rising in the distance new things.
Weevil Girl points out Tucker got canceled because of the Dominion lawsuit. Yeah, that's kind of an excuse. This is the reason why he got fired. This type of talk, this type of rhetoric is not allowed. You can't do this outside of the box. You have to do it in the box and under restraint. That's how you speak. You can't do this, and for that he got fired.
Institutions,
in my view,
led by new people who are every bit as brave as the people who came before us. Amen. Here's the second thing I'd like to say before I get to the conversation with Dr. Roberts, which is that it might be time to start to reassess the terms we use to describe what we're watching. So when I started at Heritage, the presumption was, and this is a very Anglo-American assumption, that the debates we're having are kind of rational debates about the way to get to mutually agreed upon outcomes, right? So like we all want the country to be more prosperous and free and people to be less oppressed or whatever, and so we're going to argue about tax rates, and I think higher tax gets us there. I'm like, Keynes.
Sedento asks, is the Tucker video real or AI created? That's a good question. It could be, right? It could be AI created. I believe it's real. It looks like a real interview.
And you disagree, you're an Austrian or whatever, but the objective is the same. And so we write our papers and they write their papers and may the best papers win. I don't think that's what we're watching now at all. I don't think we're watching a debate over how to get to the best outcome.
Right.
I think that's completely wrong. And I've come to this conclusion, and I should say at the outset I'm an Episcopalian, so don't take any theological advice from me, because I don't have any. I grew up in the shallowest faith tradition that's ever been invented. It's not even a Christian religion at this point, I say with shame. But I'm just saying this as an observer of what's going on. There is no way to assess, say, the transgenderist movement with that mindset. Policy papers don't account for it at all. If you have people who are saying, I have an idea, let's castrate the next generation. Let's sexually mutilate children. I'm sorry, that's not a political debate. What? It has nothing to do with politics. What's the outcome we're desiring here? An androgynous population? Is that really what are we arguing for that? I don't think anyone could defend that as a positive outcome. But the weight of the government and a lot of corporate interests are behind that. Well, what is that? Well, it's irrational. If you say, well, I think abortion is always bad, well, I think sometimes it's necessary, that's a debate I'm familiar with. But if you're telling me that abortion is a positive good, what are you saying?
Right.
Well, you're arguing for child sacrifice, obviously. It's not about a teen girl gets pregnant and what do we do about that? And
it's powerful.
Victims of rape, I get it. Of course I understand that, and I have compassion for everyone involved. But when the Treasury Secretary stands up and says, you know what you can do to help the economy? Get an abortion. Well, that's like an Aztec principle, actually. There's not a society in history that didn't practice human sacrifice. Not one. I checked. Even the Scandinavians, I'm ashamed to say. It wasn't just the Mesoamericans, it was everybody. So that's what that is. Well, what's the point of child sacrifice? Well, there's no policy goal entwined with that. No, that's a theological phenomenon. And that's kind of the point I'm making. None of this makes sense in conventional political terms.
Right.
When people or crowds of people, or the largest crowd of people at all, which is the federal government, the largest human organization in human history, decide that the goal is to destroy things, destruction for its own sake. Hey, let's tear it down.
Let's tear it down. That's precisely. It's not destruction, but let's tear it down and install something that is cohesive to us. Right? That's the nature of the beast. Right?
What you're watching is not a political movement, it's evil. So if you want to assess, and I'll put it in and I'll stop with this. I'll put it in non-political, or non-specific theological terms, and just say, if you want to know what's evil and what's good, what are the characteristics of those? And by the way, I think the Athenians would have agreed with this. This is not necessarily just a Christian notion. This is kind of a, I would say, widely agreed upon understanding of good and evil. What are its products? What do these two conditions produce? Well, I mean, good is characterized by order, calmness, tranquility, peace, whatever you want to call it, lack of conflict, cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. It's true, it is. And evil is characterized by their opposites: violence, hate, disorder, division, disorganization, and filth. So if you are all in on the things that produce the latter basket of outcomes, what you're really advocating for is evil. That's just true. Yeah. I'm not calling for a religious war, far from it. I'm merely calling for an acknowledgement of what we're watching, which is not what, and I'm certainly not backing the Republican Party. I mean, ugh. I'm not making a partisan point at all. I'm just noting what's super obvious. Like, those of us who are in our mid-50s are caught in the past.
You can't say, Tucker, you can't tell the public that you're not a Republican. You work for Fox, man. You can't do that. That's a big no-no. You got to be for. Right? Well, you can't just be against. You got to be for something. So you got to be for the Republicans. Those are the people shelling out the cash, Tucker. See how it works? You see how it works? He's being too honest. He's being brutally honest, right up the middle, and this is what happens. You get attacked from both sides.
In the way that we think about this, one side's like, no, I've got this idea, and we've got this idea, and let's have a debate about our ideas. They don't want a debate. Those ideas won't produce outcomes that any rational person would want under any circumstances. Mm-hmm. Those are manifestations of some larger force acting upon us. It's just so obvious. It's completely obvious.
Yep.
And I think two things. One, we should say that and stop engaging in these totally fraudulent debates where we are using the terms that we used in 1991 when I started at Heritage, as if maybe, I could just win the debate if I marshaled more facts. I've tried that, doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And two, maybe we should all take just like 10 minutes a day to say a prayer about it. I'm serious. Like, why?
10 minutes a day. I like that idea. Come tonight and we'll do it for 10 minutes. Well, we'll do it for 5, and then you can do the other 5 on your own.
And I'm saying that to you not as some kind of evangelist. I'm literally saying that to you as an Episcopalian, the Samaritans of our time. I'm coming to you from the most humble and lowly theological position you can. I'm literally an Episcopalian, okay? And even I have concluded it might be worth taking just 10 minutes out of your busy schedule to say a prayer for the future, and I hope you will.
Wow, Tucker Carlson, the brilliance of Tucker Carlson.
Good job. Thanks.
See, it's real. It's real, man. Congratulations, Tucker Carlson. Love that guy. We wish him well. We hope he finds his way. And on that note, let's look at the market. Oh, my God. We're down. Why are we down? Everything red today. S&P 500 down 23. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 57. And the NASDAQ is down 83. Let's see how the big board looks. Lots of red. Lots of red this morning. Big earnings coming this week. All the half the S&P is going to report this week. Lots of earnings. Apple up. Apple looks like the only green this morning, up 40 cents. Google down 50 cents. Meta down $3.65. Microsoft down $1.54. 47. Rivian going down more, down to $12 a share. PPL, the corporation that is involved in lithium mining, according to Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla. PPL, lithium refinery organization, down 2 cents this morning. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Pfizer, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon both down. Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson flat. So you got a bit of a down day. Definitely down as of now. It's 9:57 New York time. Markets have been open for 27 minutes, and we are red on a Tuesday. It doesn't mean that the week or the month is going to end down. Looks like we're going to probably stay here or edge higher as time goes on. So thank you all for joining me. You know, love him or hate him, Tucker Carlson is out at Fox. Love him or hate him, Joe Biden is officially running for president of the United States again. And love it or hate it, Democrats, you no longer have a primary to talk about. And they're pretty much, this is the year where any kind of debate in the Democratic Party, open debate, confirmed, sanctioned debate in the Democratic Party is officially canceled. There will be no more debate. Joe Biden is your pick. You must vote for him because if you don't, you're a racist and a sexist and a misogynist, and Donald Trump is coming for you because he wants to make America great again in a white supremacist, racist man way. Or something like that. So that's where you are right now in history, and I'll see you tonight, 7:00. We'll 7:15. We'll talk, and we'll meditate, and we'll enjoy. We'll enjoy. Come on down, man. Peace, everybody. Mark Scante reporting.